Good afternoon and welcome to the Business Weekly webinar. We welcome you all. Thank you for your time today. This is a presentation of the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce and the Manufacturers Association of the Southern Tier. Our focus today is going to be on restarting the economy. We have some wonderful panelists with us. We have Jim Stitt Jr. of Cutco. We have Sally Andriaccio of Andriaccio's Restaurant. And we have Jonathan Weston of Panama Rocks. We welcome all of you and thanks for being here. Thank you for your time. Some brief housekeeping for our guests today. We are using a webinar system. Therefore, you do not have the option to turn on your camera or your audio for today's presentation, but you will be able to see the panelists with the exception of Jonathan, whom we're having some technical issues with, but he's here through audio. For the best viewing experience, go to the top of your screen and select View Everyone. On the lower right-hand corner of each box, you can control the size of the box, so you can make some modifications there. We will accept write-in questions, so using the question feature within the menu, please feel free to send written questions. That's on the right-hand side of your screen where you'll see the whole menu bar. Select questions from the menu and then write in your question. We're going to do our best to get to everybody's questions through the course of this presentation. Programs and projects like this would not be feasible without the support of our sponsors. We have three sponsors today. Today's broadcast is sponsored by Digitel Inc. They're a leader in live streaming and virtual media production. They're located in Jamestown, New York. Digitel serves about 150 of the world's leading organizations and associations across the globe. If you're looking to work for one of the most exciting companies in Western New York, Digitel is always looking for the best and brightest in Chautauqua County and the region. So send your resume to work for Digitel at digitelinc.com. Also sponsoring today is Foricon. They're a local professional consulting forestry firm that has been serving the needs of Western New York and Northwestern Pennsylvania since 1954. From small woodlots to expansive forest land investments, Foricon foresters can help landowners accomplish their forestry needs. For timber sales, management plans, appraisals, or selling vacant real estate, Foricon is your one-stop consulting firm. So call 716-664-5602 or visit them online at foriconinc.com. And our third sponsor today is the law offices of Sheila Starkey Hahn, who urge you to support small local businesses. Many local restaurants quickly turn to takeout service only. Of course, now we also have some outdoor dining options, are ramping up their business models to provide good service in new ways. You can find that list at chqbuylocal.com. The energy and creativity of our local business community has been exemplary during the New York On Pause, and we salute them. Again, thank you to our sponsors. And now we'll turn to our panelists and get going with today's presentations. We're going to start with Jim Stitt Jr. Jim, again, thank you for being with us here today. If you would, please talk to our audience a little bit about your product and your manufacturing process.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are a consumer products company. We manufacture our own products and we distribute, sale directly to the consumer. We do kitchen cutlery and kitchen-related products. We also do sporting knives, utility knives, tactical knives. Both are under, we have two different brands, Cutco brand, which is our kitchen cutlery brand, and K-Bar Knives, which is our utility and tactical brands. On the manufacturing side, we do everything from blanking, grinding, polishing, assembly, injection molding, pretty much start to finish of all of those types of processes. We have approximately 630 employees. We've got about 400 on the manufacturing side and about 230 on our administrative side, from marketing to IT, customer service, accounting, human resources.
Jim, could you speak a little bit to the reopening process of your facility and how you approached it?
Yep. We probably about, we opened up on Monday, March 18th. We did a phased in approach. It took us about 3 weeks to get everybody back to work. I want to say it probably was maybe the first or second week of April that we put a team together to start to put together plans of how we would reopen and how we would operate safely. And we were able to our team put together a playbook, which basically they didn't necessarily create it on their own. They went out, they Googled, and they found a best practices playbook, if you will. And then we took it and we modified it into our needs. While our employees were off work, we were shut down for about 10 weeks. We communicated with them with a daily communication that was sent out through email and text daily. So one, we were keeping them up to speed on the business. And as we got closer to reopening, we started to share with them, important pieces of information that they needed to be aware of, that they needed to be prepared for as they came back to work. Like I said, we did bring people back in a phased approach. We did it basically, of our 400 manufacturing people, we basically brought them in 3 groups over a 2-week period. We brought them in at 10 people at a time. So they had all different start times. So we did 10 people at a time. They went through an orientation, and we essentially integrated them back into the workforce that way.
Now, Jim, you were in a situation where you're shut down, yet you were seeing increases in orders, pretty significant increases in orders. And as I recall, you were getting a little bit concerned about having enough inventory to meet the needs. So it's kind of an interesting paradox in that it appeared the economy was slowing down, but your particular product, there seemed to be quite a bit of demand for.
Yeah, when this whole thing broke in the middle to late March, I was very concerned of how bad our sales revenue was going to be affected by this whole thing, and then just on the cost side with the shutdown. And what we found was that our business took off. We are, like I said, we're direct to consumer. We have basically 3 platforms that we sell our products. One of them is through independent contractor sales representatives. Predominantly, those are college students in the summer. So we do about 65% of our business in the months of June, July, and August. And then we do about 10, that makes up about 80% of our business. We have about 10% of our business that is done in Cutco warehouse, where we're part of their roadshow program. So we go in, we set up a booth for about 10 days. We have a demonstrator there. We're actually doing direct sales within the store. And then we also have a catalog and an e-com business, which makes up about 10% of our business. The college student portion of our business took off. And we had been working on, over the past couple of years, moving into a virtual platform where we would recruit by Zoom, train by Zoom, and sell by Zoom. And this whole pandemic forced us to go there full bore. And it turns out that it worked for us. And I think with unemployment increasing and the majority of college students coming home early, we saw our recruiting efforts take off. And our business is actually up significantly year to date. We saw the same sort of increase in our direct marketing e-com business, which apparently people were home and they were willing to buy American-made kitchen products for their home activities. So, so yeah, our sales took off, and then having production shut down for 8 to 10 weeks, that really turned our plans for this year upside down. And we do have inventory challenges that I think we're going to probably be dealing with for the next 12 to 18 months. We're running to some degree hand in mouth right now. And as we look over the next year, it's going to be a struggle for us to get our inventory built back up in preparation for next summer. So I do anticipate that we will be doing some hiring probably in the very near future, bringing on more people onto our team.
Jim, it sounds like a key component of your strategy, and just backing up a little bit, was constant communication with your employees. I know some employers in the region have had some challenges getting their employees to return to work. So I guess the first question is, have you had that issue? And if not, would you attribute that to a lot of the daily communication you maintain with your employees?
Right. We have not had any challenges bringing our people back. And I think there's a couple things. First of all, we didn't lay anybody off. We paid everybody through the 8-week shutdown that we had, so there was no unemployment issues within our organization. Fortunately, we had the financial resources to be able to do that, and we're blessed to be able to do that. I recognize not all businesses can do that, so we're not battling any of the unemployment issues. I do think communicating with them every day, personally, it was a message from me, I think was a big piece of it. It kept them connected, it kept them engaged. I was sharing with them what was going on the sales end of the business, and spending time laying out what we were going to do to keep them safe when they came back. So when it did come time for them to come back to work, we had them feeling as comfortable as possible that we had a good plan for them, that our facility was going to be safe, that we were really going to walk with them hand in hand, make sure they were safe, listen to them. And they recognized that we had some business we had product to produce and business to get out. So they actually came back very excited to pitch in and do what they needed to do to get rolling. So we've been very fortunate. We have not had the issues that I know so many others are having in terms of trying to get their people to want to get off unemployment and come back to work.
Thanks, Jim. And I think it's a great story, and in terms of how well your business did during this challenging time, and your playbook and this connectivity you maintained with your employees seem to be absolutely critical to getting back up and operating. So thank you for sharing that story with us today. We appreciate it. I'm going to go to Sally Andriaccio from Andriaccio's restaurant. And first of all, tell us a little bit about the restaurant and your business model.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our business is Andriaccio's restaurant. We've been here for 38 years. This is our 38th summer. And we are located right across from Chautauqua Institution. We have a dining room that seats about 90 people, outdoor patio that seats about 60. And then we have a thriving takeout and delivery business as well, along with catering and a wedding venue called Chautauqua Barn. So we normally employ 50 to 60 employees in the summer. We're at about 25 to 30 currently.
So you, we were talking a little bit the other day, and you were kind of positioned well for this situation, or to make the best out of this situation that you could, because of certain aspects of your business and your business model. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Well, we have always, from day one, we focused on delivery and takeout and that type of thing. So we were completely set up for it. Whereas a lot of restaurants that normally just do dine-in predominantly had a harder time shifting to that service, takeout and delivery. So we were a little, I guess, unprepared for the high volume that we ended up seeing from all of this. So we had to make a quick transition to be more efficient in putting out high volume food. So we were set up, a lot better than some other places are, fortunately.
So now that you can provide outdoor service, have you pivoted, and is there an outdoor option?
Yes, we opened this past Thursday for outdoor dining, and we were very busy this weekend. A lot of people are just, they came Thursday. We saw the same people back, Saturday. So we are, open on our patio. We have our tables spaced out about 6 feet apart, according to the protocol that we have to follow. Employees are wearing masks, and it's been good. It's been we're glad to slowly get back to some kind of normalcy, I guess you could say.
So as you look to next Tuesday, which all things continue well through this phase, restaurants will be able to open up for dining, within the facility as well. What types of planning and preparation are you putting in place to be ready for that?
Yeah, so it is tough because we don't really know exactly what's going to be required, but we have spaced our tables, according to the 6 foot, 6 feet. We have put plexiglass shields in place, especially in our takeout. We actually redesigned our takeout area, put up some shields and things like that, put some spacers in between tables, and just removed some tables completely for now, in order to just keep things, the way they should be. We went with contactless payment systems for, our takeout and our delivery service. And the same, we have like the tablets where people can just do everything themselves, just sanitize after each use. So it's been a learning experience, but we're looking forward to getting fully open.
And I think it's important for those on here with us to remember, if they haven't done it yet, they need to go to the forward.ny.gov website and read through the guidelines. New York State's put up a lot of information, including businesses that have been open through the pause period. All businesses have to go to that website, read through the guidance, and then go through an affirmation process, and then also take that next step of putting together a safety and reopening plan. So I just wanted to work that in there and remind our businesses. There was some confusion. Some businesses who had already been open and thought, well, I'm already good to go, but actually, all businesses have to get in there and do that affirmation, and it's pretty straightforward. I'm sure that's been everybody's experience so far. Any advice, Sally, for any restaurants we may have on the call today in terms of as they get ready for the reopening? Or have you learned some new things? Have you found some things maybe that have worked better than others as you've gone through this?
Like I said, we were already set up, so we did learn that just create your system to be as efficient as possible. Creating a system where if people have to wait for a table, make sure they're not all just in in groups. Just kind of, you really have to create different waiting areas. That's what we had to do in both areas, takeout and dining room. And just your staff, like Jim said, constant communication. Just we have like daily meetings or briefings through, you know, if not in person, just through our social media format that we have for all of our employees. Just a lot of communication, keep things positive. You know, we've had a lot of, you know, the impact for us probably wasn't as bad as some, but you know, the wedding business was really impacted, of course, catering the wedding business because of not being able to gather in large crowds. So I did have a separate staff for that. So they're kind of on hold for now. So, but just to stay positive, and I think people are hungry to just get out and get back to normal. So I think once things really open up, be ready because they're coming for sure. So.
Thanks, Sally. Thanks for being here and sharing your story. It's a good story that you folks have been able to weather through this and are in a good position for the reopening. We'll now turn to Jonathan Weston. And as I mentioned earlier, we were having some issues with his video, but we have him with us through audio. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. A very unique asset here in our region in Panama Rocks, and probably some unique things you had to consider as part of your reopening. So Jonathan, if you would first talk to us a little bit about your business and Panama Rocks, and as well as your business model.
Sure, thank you, Todd, and I apologize for the video. I don't really know what's happening there. Yeah, so Panama Rocks it's kind of an anachronism. It's a privately owned and operated park. It was founded in 1885 before the state park system existed. It's a geologic outcrop of rock about half a mile long with caves, crevices, and passageways. We're open from usually open from the first weekend of May through the last weekend of October. We are fully funded by our guests. We do not get state assistance. So whereas I'd say it's all over the world, I love state parks, but we operate on 1/10 the budget of the state park. We have to be very efficient with our operations, and we have to get guests and customers in, because if we don't, we just don't have the budget to stay open. So I've invested a lot in digital marketing, social media marketing over the last 7 years that I've been back running the park, and that has significantly increased the number of visitors and guests we receive each year. I'd say 2/3 to 3/4 of our guests will come on, any given day. Usually weekends are busier, but on those weekend days, 2/3 of those guests are in 3 to 4 hour increments. So we, typically make money off of crowds. Now, we were told, it took a while to hear back from ESD, but we were told, okay, you are a park, you're allowed to reopen. But, figuring out how we could do that safely, and how can we open but not have crowds, because people just show up, and we have our office, and we're not using the main office right now, but our office is indoors. We bring people into the office in groups if we had to. We check them in, they'd pay their admission, they'd sign a waiver, we go over the safety of the trail and push them out. But if it was busy, they'd push them in there like sardines. And that's what we had to do to get people out quickly, so they didn't have to stand in line for a long time. So we have, and we live on property. So, and we have family that's high risk category with COVID. So we have to, had to really, everything from the physical structures. And thank you, Julie and Steve Rockcastle from the Heron, for letting us borrow snow fencing. We snow fenced off our house, so we have a space to be safely. We've moved our office into a temporary check-in point outside with a little 4x6 pop-up tent. And the biggest change we've made is implementing a online reservation system, which has allowed. This was actually our first weekend. We had season pass holders in the few weeks prior, but this weekend was the first weekend we allowed day guests, at least explicitly. And with the reservation system, instead of paying here, they pay online. There's a digital waiver option, so they sign digital waivers online before they get here. So we are moving essentially to an entirely contactless entry system, which is just you know, just like restaurants had to change, is an entirely different way for us to do business. So it has been a challenge, but I think just like Sally and Jim said, it's pivoting and leveraging technology, leveraging systems to meet those challenges, and then trying to, you know, it's not this, we could get a reasonable summer, but I doubt this is going to be a great summer for us, but we can survive it because of that. So.
Jonathan, at you know, a time when there's been, you know, some confusion around what is and what is not open, and, you know, of course, our proximity to the PA border and proximity to Ohio is kind of added to that confusion, because, you know, each state has kind of different timing and different rules. What have you done to sort of cut through that confusion to communicate that Panama Rocks is open?
Yeah, so we have a very, and as I mentioned, we have a very, and have had a very aggressive social media strategy. So, and I've been encouraging other business owners to do live videos, but we have done live from the week or so before we opened, just doing updates and live videos, as well as making sure that our website is fully updated. Our third-party sites, TripAdvisor, the Google My Business, your Google site. If you have a restaurant through Yelp, you know, we have because you have Yelp too. Making sure all of those sites and hours are updated and have a message that reflects the operating status, making sure that our website, every, you know, the hours and contacts page, the admission page, the about page, the main page of the website, all had to have updates, and making sure that we communicate effectively on social media. Now, I mean, just because we are a park and people just go, oh, park. I mean, they don't, you know, necessarily do any research and go, okay, parks are open. They don't think there may or may not, you know, because we're private, there's an admission fee, and, you know, we get people who come in and have zero idea, and that's going to happen. So we just had to be prepared for that. But I do think with having an aggressive outreach strategy, we reduced it. And it's really, you know, you have to. I really believe that this is a time for businesses. I mean, look, it might not be a great year. It might be a great year. I'm glad that Cutco is doing so well with sales, and I hope you're able to get the production up. But for us too, you know, so we're looking at ways, what can we do to prepare ourselves for the future? So that is building our databases. We've been very blessed and to get support from our guests and visitors, and even new guests who have bought season passes. So for a while we sold, our season passes are usually good for a year. You save money at your second visit. You can come all you want for the year, but for a while, when we didn't know we were going to open, we offered 2-year season passes, and we got a lot of support for doing that, and from just asking people for support. With our new reservation system and our digital waiver system, for nearly every guest, we're getting emails and contact information for our database. So those are people that can be added to our email lists. Those are people now with this, you know, online reservation system. I was never really able to most of the people I didn't have an email contact for unless they willingly gave it to us through a sign-up pad. But now we can email every guest after they've left, ask them how their experience was, ask them if they'd like to upgrade to a season pass, offer them, you know, some deals, engage in reputation management. You know, how was your experience? If it was great, would you write a review? If not, can you reach out to us or let us know so we can make it right? So we're trying to just, you know, get back every possible inch, you know, and if we're not going to make the money we used to make this year, maybe we will. But we do have to control the crowds. But can we increase our reviews? Can we increase our season pass holders? Can we increase our database so that in future years we can come back stronger? And that's kind of how we're approaching it at this point.
What is your outlook for the rest of this summer?
Well, it's hopeful. So with the reservation system, we've been engaged in a phased reopening. I've said very clearly even before we had opened, it's safety first, 100%. Not only for me and my family, we're personally being very conservative with this, but we want our guests, every single one of our guests, to feel like they can come here and feel safe. We don't want any, you know, and we've had people thank us, you know, thank you for doing all these things, because we don't have to. So We've been in a phased reopening. So last weekend we had reservation windows every 15 minutes. This weekend we had reservations every 10 minutes. And next weekend we're actually going down to having a potential reservation window every 5 minutes. And we believe we can do that because we did it every 10 minutes. And this, when people pay online, when they sign the waivers online, if they're all set when they come up, it's very quick to check them in. I can do it in 30 seconds. So we're just slowly opening up and making sure that we can do it in a responsible manner. That said, those windows, if a group, whether it's one person or up to 10 people for a reservation window, that limits it, right? We're limiting the people, limiting the groups that can come in. So we're going to have to see, it's going to be a wait and see how many people. I'm not sure that we're going to be restricted based on the potential number of guests who want to come. I do believe that people want to get out. Outdoor recreation right now is becoming incredibly popular. I just tried to buy a tent and it's nearly impossible. So we're blessed for that, but we're also a place that, can get crowds. So we have to prevent that. So we are hoping that people will spread out a little bit. We did see that this weekend where we had, on Sunday, everyone but one of our reservation windows was taken. So we're getting people more spread out throughout the day. We hope that continues and throughout the week. So it's a wait and see for us on what's going to happen. So we're kind of playing it by ear.
Right. Very good. So, probably, for the listeners out there, there's kind of a common theme across all three of these businesses. As we heard Jim talk about how they were in the process of moving to doing more sales through Zoom. This, situation, caused Cutco to kind of put the pedal to the metal on that strategy. Sally, you've taken a lot of orders online and, able to process payments remotely. Jonathan, you've leveraged social media and you've been able to leverage, online reservation software. Would any of you like to speak to, how important technology has been for you, during this challenging time?
For me, I guess I don't know that we'd be open without it. To be honest, the last 7 years since I moved back to the area, technology and digital marketing, for example, we've tripled our income, and that's been, I'm not expecting that this year, but that's basically my pay, we've increased costs, but that allows me to have a paycheck, so one, without technology, I wouldn't, I don't think my business would be profitable. Two, right now, I don't know that we could be open during COVID-19 effectively. How would we could, if we wanted to be, but how would we control crowds? We would have a lot of upset guests and a lot of people who were concerned about safety when they came here if we didn't. So for us, it's been absolutely essential.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Absolutely essential for us, particularly on the sales side. If we didn't have the technology to be able to sell, recruit, train remotely, our sales would have been completely shut down. And beyond that, we did take our customer service team, and they are predominantly working from home now. I guess it was about 2 years ago, we put in a new call center service platform that had this as an option that we could integrate in. We were never interested in it because we really do, we're big proponents of culture and people together, and we're really not a work from home company, but we've got probably the better part of 250 people now that are working from home. We were forced to go there, and technology is allowed us to go there. So, like Jonathan, we would have really been pretty much shut down without technology.
Yeah, it's a little bit different for restaurants, but the same thing with us. It allowed us to, our online ordering increased by, 800%, I think, just because your phones are ringing and they're busy, people can't get through, so they're like, what the heck, I'll just go online and order. And we've had a lot of online orders, and the ability to have contactless payment with that kind of technology. So yeah, I mean, it's been great. Gotta have it.
A couple of questions, couple of comments have come in. Here's one of them. Are businesses in our area requiring employees and customers to wear a face covering? How are you managing that in your workplaces?
I'll go. Since we are a manufacturer and we are not customer facing, I believe what the guidance from New York State says is that if you are within 6 feet of another employee, you must wear a face covering. If you're not within 6 feet, then you do not have to wear a face covering. Now, what we are doing is we gave everybody 2 face coverings, and we had, fortunately for us, out of all the employees we had a few of them that knew how to sew. So they took on the project while they were at home making face coverings. So we had a team that made 1,200 face coverings. So everybody got 2 of them when they came back to work. And essentially what we're doing is we are trying to practice social distancing. Our maintenance and engineering team was able to put up plexiglass barriers for any of the areas of the facility or operations where people were closer than 6 feet. So we pretty much have everybody spread out. We're encouraging them to wear them as much as they can. We're requiring them to wear them in the common areas, so hallways, cafeterias, things like that. But we're also making sure that they're not required to wear them all day. Trying to wear a face covering in a hot environment in a factory, and I would assume the kitchen in a restaurant is going to be about the same. You got to worry about other health issues. So, we're encouraging our employees to, if they are in a position to where they have to wear their face covering because they're within 6 feet of somebody, to take a break, get away, go take it off, give yourself a chance to breathe. So we've got a little bit of a hybrid going on in our organization, and it seems to be working pretty well. We've educated people on what the New York State guidance was, and then we're asking them to use common sense, and it's working. But again, we're not having to deal with customers, so I think Jonathan and Sally have a little different situation with their businesses.
Thank you, Jim. Sally, you want to comment?
Yeah, so as the New York guidance says right now, our staff does wear face coverings when they're serving customers, whether it's on the patio or our takeout. So we have them on at all times around customers, of course. And we also have the plexiglass shield in our takeout area for, at the cash register and things like that. But as of right now, we are and will continue to wear them until we're, it's okay not to.
I'll remind if there are any restaurant owners on this call with us, we still have quite a significant supply of face masks that were contributed by the New York State Restaurant Association, New York State, for the purpose of helping our restaurants. So if anybody runs low, we have some available. Jonathan, do you have anything to add related to face coverings? Might have lost Jonathan.
I think I muted myself when I tried to unmute myself.
Okay, well, we got you now.
Yeah, no, we started out with guests saying that you must wear a face mask for check-in. Now, because we have a contactless check-in, for most of our guests, we're actually able to stay on our porch, about 12 feet away from the guests and be outdoors. So we've adapted this in the last week, or just this last weekend, I've adapted our language to say, instead of you must wear a mask, saying you should bring a mask, because we just won't, we're not going to get within 6 feet of you, period, if you don't have a mask on. And we will wear masks if we have to, hand you a t-shirt or give you season passes to pick up or something. But we're not going to come down off the porch to assist a guest if they're not wearing a mask. But we really don't need to, for the most part, with the system we have set up. I mean, I can, as long as someone can hear my voice, I can check them in. And we're doing it out. It's all outdoors. So, but yes, and I've got to say, I was worried. I was worried when we did this that we were going to get feedback, negative feedback, negative pushback from guests who are saying, I'm wearing a mask. You hear these horror stories. And we didn't. I mean, we had people who, they didn't like that they wore them, but people were kind and understanding. So it was nice to see. It was nice to see people who, just did what they needed to do. So.
A follow-up question on face coverings, I think primarily oriented at Sally. When customers come in, whether it's on the patio, and we're not sure about, in the establishment dining yet, but are customers required to wear a mask when they approach the business, or
Yes,
or if they have
are.
to use the restroom or something?
They're supposed to wear them coming into the business while they're standing. Once they're seated at their table, and then from there, all tables are 6 feet or more apart. So we require, they wear them while they're standing or walking around. Correct. That's what the guidance says.
Very good.
We haven't had any issues with people not doing that. So.
Good. Here's a statement. Many thanks to Jonathan Weston for meeting with me over the phone recently to discuss our presence on social media. He was so helpful and gave me some terrific information that would have taken me quite a long time to gather without his help. This particular business would encourage others to utilize his unique skill set for social media outreach to help build things up post-COVID. Hashtag grateful.
Well, you're welcome. Happy to help.
And yeah, in full disclosure, Jonathan is also part of the team here at the Chamber of Commerce, and for those very reasons just stated, that's why he's on our team and working with our businesses to help support them during this challenging time, and as well as they ramp up, and once we get to a new normal. I think that's how you put it, Sally, a new normal. So if anybody's in need of some help, through the chamber and help around marketing, we have Jonathan on our team as a resource for that. Well, this has been a great conversation, and I think some unique perspectives, from one of the larger manufacturers in our region to a small locally owned restaurant to a local tourist attraction. This has been some helpful information. To the panelists, do you have anything else you'd like to share with the audience at this time?
I don't.
Okay. Well, again,
I just encourage you to be creative. I'd encourage you to try new things. I think that this is a time to evolve or die. I hate to say it that way. I mean, some businesses will be able to be fine no matter what. Some businesses do not need to change a thing, and they're going to be great. But don't be scared of trying new things. Be thoughtful about it. But I think that everyone, Jim, Sally, myself, everyone that's spoken today, has adapted in ways that have benefited the business. And every business might be different how they do that, of course. But yeah.
It's a very good point.
An opportunity, it's a time for innovation, right? To test new things, test new strategies, and it'll be interesting to see some of the innovation that evolves and sticks with us as we move forward. I want to take a moment to remind our businesses again to make sure they go to the forward.ny.gov website and complete their affirmations, start working on your reopening safety plans. If you need assistance, let us know. We do have a lot of resources at chautauquachamber.org on restarting the economy, some business resiliency resources, marketing resources, how to continue if you need to managing employee leave, as well as information and links to our health department. So, thank you all, for your participation today. We will be back here next Monday at 3:30 to have another discussion, related to how we can continue to grow our economy and strengthen our businesses. We ask that you continue, to be diligent and work with your customers and your workers to continue to be diligent. And remember that, this disease has not left us yet. It is still here, so we need to continue to be safe, but also be safe as we reopen and strengthen our local and regional economy. Again, we'll be back here next Monday at 3:30. We thank you for your time. Be safe and be healthy. Thank you.
Thank
So long,
you.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye now.